If you're working 6 days a week and still wondering where the money's gone, you're not being lazy, but your business model is likely broken and we need to fix it before it breaks you. The harder that you push the wrong setup, the faster that you're going to burn out. And I want to show you exactly what I mean with kind of a real story about a tradesman who he'd hit the wall, he was ready to give up. And this isn't a story just about tradesmen, it's about kind of any business. It's because the lessons here are fundamentally the same. So our tradesman had made £26,000 in net profit last year. 5 days on the tools, Saturdays he was out pricing jobs. Sundays he was catching up, and he asked me, am I better off working for someone else? Now, I've spent 20 years helping people earn more and live better without adding more hours. Here's what I'm going to take you through. Firstly, why hard work alone is going to destroy your profit. Secondly, is how systems must reflect your clients. Thirdly, it's about the follow-up. And fourth, it's about how you can farm existing clients to build wealth faster, and it's much easier than chasing new ones. So I suppose going back to our client is, he was doing everything right except his maths. Each quote that he did, it took him 2 hours. He had to drive there. He had to go and assess the job. He had to go home. He'd actually have to price it up, and then he'd have to send it out. And he won about 1 in every 5 jobs that he went to look at. That's 10 hours a week of work, unpaid, doing quotes. That's not about being lazy, but I could see why he was ready to burn out. It wasn't the fact that he wasn't working enough. It was that his system wasn't working for him. If effort alone built success, every exhausted business owner would be rich. He told me he wanted to work with higher net worth clients, people who value craftsmanship and professionalism. But his quoting process told me a different story. He was sending his prices by text, quick, casual, and convenient, miles away from the client he wanted. Brand isn't about logos, it's about trust. Every message you send will either build or break it. So I asked him, if you want premium clients, shouldn't your process feel premium as well? We redesigned it from the ground up. He now arrives to do a quote with a clean clipboard, branded A4 quote sheet. He takes proper notes. He collects full contact information, and then he sends a beautifully formatted PDF by email with his logo, terms, and all the bits and pieces he needs. Then he calls politely and confidently a few days later. No more chasing by text. When I first suggested all of this to him, he said, but that's going to take more time. And I said, yeah, but this is where you stop being the cheap one and start being the right one. When his conversions went from 1 in 5 to 3 in 5, he suddenly needed 60% fewer visits to earn the same money. That meant saving around 4 hours a week without actually losing a single client. What's interesting is that the pricing actually got faster, as his quotation sheet meant it was easier for him to actually recall the job while he was in the process of quoting. In my book, The Science of Business, I talk about the principle of 80-20. 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of your actions. And the right actions attract the right clients. Your process tells people who you are before your price ever does. A few years ago, I got a quote to install a wood-burning stove. When the tradesman arrived, he didn't need to say a word to me to know he was the right person for the job. He opened the back of his van, tools lined up, paperwork in a branded folder. His uniform was clean, and he was polite, confident, and clearly knew his craft. I didn't bother getting another quote. And that's what I mean by your system reflecting your client. He wasn't competing on price. He was competing on perception. And perception is built by process, not promises. The clean van sold the job before the quote ever landed, because presentation is part of your brand. And did I make a mistake choosing them? Not a chance. They were brilliant from start to finish. Businesses that care about the little things usually get the big things right too. If these ideas are helping you think differently about your business, hit subscribe. This is the kind of stuff that I share every single week. Most tradespeople never follow up on quotes. They assume silence means no. But in behavioral science, silence actually rarely means rejection. It usually means someone's busy or distracted. That's life, isn't it? A single polite follow-up call signals reliability. It turns you from a name on a list into a real person they can trust. For my client, we built a list of the 5 most common objections and pre-wrote responses to each one. We've had a cheaper quote. I completely understand. I don't try to be the cheapest. I focus on quality, materials, and work that lasts for years. Can I give you a reference from another customer? We're not ready yet. No problem. Shall I check back in a month? Put them in your diary. You'll be the only person who has actually followed up. So few people follow up. We're still comparing. Would a few before and after photos help with your decision? These are really simple things that you can do, and they're not rocket science either. When I had my heat pump installed, it was mega money. I said to the engineer, how do I know this is going to work? My home is old and it's really badly insulated. He replied with one of the best answers ever, and he said, I am one of the top 3 engineers in the UK, and we know that because of the data that comes out of my systems. I've designed something bespoke for your property that considers heat loss. I'll use the best materials and it will work. And it did work. And he did install the best materials, and he was the tidiest plumber that I've ever worked with. But back to my client. Every objection becomes data. Every call improves the next one. That's the science of conversion. It's not guesswork. It's about measuring. It's about learning. And the key is this. If one quick phone call saves you from spending 2 hours going and quoting for another job, that's a massive win for your business. The fortune isn't in the quote, it's in the follow-up. Once my client's conversion rate improved, we could move to the next phase, which is where it's really exciting, actually. It's about farming. Every completed job went into a simple spreadsheet. Client name, the date, and the service. This could be really low tech. It doesn't have to be a spreadsheet. It could be a piece of paper. For a plumber, this is easy. Hi, John. It's time for your annual boiler service. For the painter, hi, Sarah. It's been nearly 3 years since I did your hallway. Fancy a refresh before winter? For the electrician, hi, Paul. I installed your EV charger last spring. Just checking everything's still working fine. For the hairstylist, shall we get your next appointment booked in? For the cake maker, I made you a birthday cake last year. Do you need another one this year? For my client, the one who used to spend 2 hours on every quote, new work now starts with a simple phone call. Don't chase more clients. Nurture the ones who already trust you. The truth is this, working harder won't save your business. Your systems will. If you want kind of premium results, you've got to have to build a premium process. Make your workflow match your worth. Measure your conversions. Follow up and farm your best clients. That's how you stop running a job and start running a business. Don't try to change everything all at once. Just wake up each day and make a small change that moves your business forward. I've recorded a video all about how I do this and why motivation won't save your business, but systems and goals and purpose will actually supercharge it. Watch that next, and it should be popping up on screen now. If this has helped you, then hit subscribe, share it with someone who you might know who's burning out. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments about kind of one thing that you're doing in your business to make it more efficient and work better for you. And I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.